Wondering what life is really like on Canada's wild and crazy West Coast? This podcast is all about the people, the places, and Vancouver Island time. Together, we'll explore this island paradise, a combination of ocean, city, and country living. We'll meet the fabulous locals such as the Fudge Fairy and the Chicken Lady, who have chosen Victoria and Vancouver Island as their home. And we'll learn what makes this place unique and special to those who live here. And now, your host of Vancouver Island Time, Jane Johnston.
Hi everybody, it's Jane Johnston with the Briar Hill Group at Remax Camosun. I'm here with Jilly Hyndman. She's with
the Heartrageous Coach.
And we're going to be talking about the area of View Royal. So first of all, I understand you moved here from Saskatchewan.
Yes.
And what was it like there?
Not like this. January in Saskatchewan is very different. It's usually in the minus 20 to 30 range with lots of wind. And here it's green and mild and pleasant and moist, and everything's starting to bloom already, which is very strange, but wonderful.
Is this your first winter in Victoria?
I'd been out a couple times during the winter last year, but we moved at the end of June, and so it's our first full fall season, winter season, and I'm really looking forward to spring.
Yeah, well, the first time I moved here actually was 20 years ago. And I moved from Toronto and I kept thinking, well, when's winter?
Yeah. Someone told us the other day, well, the winter's over now. And it was like a week. So, okay. Because in Saskatchewan, it's several months of quite cold, quite clenchy experience. So, yeah.
So the area that you picked to move into is View Royal. Mm-hmm. I call this kind of a shoulder area in real estate because we're halfway between downtown and the West Shore.
Yeah, it's we didn't really know anything about the community before we looked here, and we knew we wanted to be on the peninsula somewhere because we just knew that. And this has turned out to be the best location. We are 10 minutes from everything, literally, which is, I mean, coming from Saskatchewan, we were driving half an hour minimum to get into the city. And then within the city, several, 20 minutes to get where you needed to go. So this has been a real treat. We are close to everything and yet in a beautiful little neighborhood that sort of feels off on its own. So it's really great.
So I thought it was kind of interesting when I walk in, you have this note on the door that says your daughter can't play today.
Yeah.
Which says to me, so we're in a strata.
Mm-hmm.
I think traditionally there've been lots of seniors in the strata. Are more younger people moving in?
It is, the day we moved in, we were doing some renovations and the doorbell rang. And the neighborhood kids came and scooped up our daughter and whisked her away for about 4 hours while we ripped out flooring. And it was just so lovely. It's a beautiful mix of seniors, younger families, singles, couples with no kids. It's a real community just in this strata. And one of the really nice bits is that there's a couple friends of our daughter, so they live here, and their grandparents have another unit, so they make the rounds to the grandparents for ice cream and popsicles and all that. So we just let the kids sort of run wild in the strata complex, and there's not traffic that shouldn't be here, and we just know they're playing in the greenery or in somebody's yard or at somebody's house. And it's so nice because where we were before, we had to drive for everything. If there's a play date, we had to arrange it. We had to make all the, travel and all that and arrange pickups. And this is she runs out the door and I'm not worried about it. It's very, very nice.
So the other thing that's great about this area, you have a really nice elementary school. Mm-hmm. It's Eagle View?
Yeah. Right near us, it's a 5-minute walk to school every morning, which is lovely. And the school community is wonderful. It's we heard before we moved here from a teacher friend of ours that this is the school that all the elementary teachers want to teach at. So that told us something about what the school must be like.
Right. Yeah. And actually around the corner, just across the street, is one of the most fabulous neighborhoods to go to for Halloween.
Mm-hmm. It's true. Yeah, Stone Ridge. It's they do it up right. It's always an event. And I think the kids had to dump their bags of candy out about 3 times this year. So
So if you're looking for a family area, it's good. There's also been a lot of development nearby. So right on the other side, so we're on the sort of north or west side of the hospital. And then on the east side of the hospital is a new mall.
Yeah, Eagle Creek Village. It is perfect. We can walk there in 10 minutes. There's a huge grocery store, quality foods. There is just this beautiful square with, several coffee shops, Cobb's Bread, a dentist, an eye place, a vet, a pet store.
Tim Hortons, right?
Tim Hortons, a Starbucks, a YWC or a YMCA gym. It's everything you need.
Daycare.
There's a daycare. There's underground parking. There's condos up above, which is really nice because somebody's always there with eyes on the area. It's vibrant and it's it's where everything you need is within walking distance. I just can't get over it.
I know.
Sometimes it's too convenient. It's like, should we cook tonight? Oh, let's just go to Quality Foods. They have the food counter and you can just get whatever you like. So
I thought they have actually a really good thing when they talk about their appetizers. What do they call those?
Oh,
that every day you can get a deal on appetizers there. So on your way
yes,
home.
Appy Hour or something.
Appy Hour.
Yes. And I don't want to tell people, but $1.49 Tuesdays. It's like they have random things for $1.49. My neighbor and I go and stock up. It's awesome.
Look out, thrifties, you have competition.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, what about outdoor activities? Do you go to Thetis Lake, which is quite close by as well?
That's just the gem of where we are. It's a 6-minute drive to Thetis Lake. We throw our kayaks in the back of the truck. We'll kayak all over Thetis Lake for a day. We go and hike. We take the dog. There's an awesome dog beach there. It's really it's such a nice thing. And that's one of our motivations for moving here is to be outdoors and more active more of the year.
Hold on a second though.
Yeah.
Didn't you live on a huge ranch?
We lived on a farm, an 80-acre farm. So we were outdoors, but it wasn't often for pleasure. It was a lot of maintenance and work. And so now we're here. And the beauty of being in a strata is that someone else is doing the outdoor work and we get to play on weekends and evenings. So that's been a really nice shift for us. But
for the lifestyle.
Yeah, we say that we downsized our financial lifestyle and upsized our quality of life by moving here. So,
Cool.
Yeah.
And so, Thetis Lake has upper and lower Thetis Lake. Do you take your dog on those trails?
Yeah, we do. We go hiking at least every Sunday as a family. It's our church. It's what we've decided to do. And so rain or shine, we go. And we explore all different parks in the area, but Thetis is one of our favorites. It's just so convenient and it's so friendly. We always see tons of dogs walking around the lake, and it's a great location. So many beautiful views from all the different areas, and you're protected when it's raining because there's lovely tree coverage, and if you want to be at the beach, you can go to the beach. It's awesome.
So there are a couple other dog-friendly parks in Colwood and Mechosin as well. There's one Colwood Creek Park, which is right at Souk Road and Veterans Memorial there.
Okay.
And then there's also dog-friendly parks along Mechosin, which are on the beach, like Taylor. Have you been to Taylor Beach?
We've been down. Where have we been? Royal Bay Beach, whatever that's called.
Yep.
We've been out to Whitty's. We went last weekend to Whitty's and it was very mucky, but it was still super fun. So
it's good in the summer.
Yeah. We try to make the rounds to anywhere that's dog friendly during the dog friendly times. We actually, across the road in Stone Ridge, there's a little tiny park, Aldersmith Park, and it's a dog park. So I can walk our daughter to school in the morning, go throw the ball for the dog, come back and start work all within half an hour. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. I know. I think this area is underappreciated. Do you ever get over to the old View Royal area across?
Yeah, we love going to Portage Park, which is another dog-friendly place with the beach. And our dog likes to swim and chase rocks into the water. So we go there quite a bit. We just go park right behind View Royal Town Office. And there's this little hidden gem of trails down to the inlet. And it's a beautiful spot to just sit and watch the sunset. We do that quite a bit.
Yeah.
And there's a playground if you follow the trails around. So our daughter will climb all over everything and we come home, or sometimes we stop at 6 Mile Pub or 4 Mile Pub, whichever one is there. I get mixed up. We go to both of them. Yeah. So it's like this little, I don't know, it feels like a hidden gem of a park.
So for anybody looking for downtown View Royal, it's actually the 4 Mile Pub.
Yeah.
And then behind that are the trails between it and the municipal hall.
Yeah.
Yeah. And actually, if you live in that area of Old View Royal, you can actually walk through to Thrifty's there to do your shopping.
Yeah.
So that's kind of an unknown thing. And then there's also a bike trail that goes there.
Yeah, the E&N goes there, I think, and the Galloping Goose goes right down behind our place here. And so once we get our bikes, because we didn't bring our other old bikes with us, once we get our bikes, I know we're going to be biking to Thetis or biking down the trail and just see what we can explore that way in this neighborhood.
There's a great bike store, actually. There are two in Colwood and Langford. One is on Pete Road, AM/PM I think it's called. And then the other one is Oak Bay Bikes, which is in the West Shore Mall, if you're looking for bikes. Okay, so what about, what would you tell people who are wanting to move to Victoria from other parts of the country?
Well, this is the thing. It's like you want people to come and enjoy it, and you kind of want to keep it a secret. No, it's a fabulous place to live. It's, I mean, what I'm still trying to grasp is the weather. It's such a change from where we came from. It's just so easy to be outdoors here and being active. Back in Saskatchewan, you have to really muster the clothing,
the energy
and the attitude to want to go outside during the winter, number one. But even in the spring and fall, there's so much wind that it makes outdoor activities challenging or not as pleasant as they could be. And then I find in the summer, I'm not a really hot person, so it gets to be too hot and there's too many mosquitoes. And I lived there for over 40 years and I love that place. It's where I'm from and it's beautiful. But this is just so much more me at this point in my life. Just the temperate climate, the relaxed attitude, and just the beauty that's all around.
Some people say that West Coasters are a bit slow on service. Do you find that?
Not really. Not from what we've experienced. No, we've found everyone smiling all the time. We were really shocked. One day we had to run a bunch of errands when we first were here, and everyone we met was smiling and wanted to chat and wanted to know our story, and like we went to the bank, and how often is that a pleasant experience? Right? And it was lovely, and the woman happened to have moved here from Saskatchewan 20 years ago, so we're like, oh, all our people are here.
Yeah. Actually, the majority of people I find in Victoria, it's very rare to find a true multi-generational Victorian. Yeah. So top 3 restaurants that you've been to in the area?
Ooh, in the area. So 4 Mile and 6 Mile are favorite places of ours just because they're so relaxed. The food is like good pub food, delicious beers. Kind of into that. Another favorite of ours is what I feel like is a hidden gem as well. And it's the same sort of theme. Crooked Goose, which is just over in Strawberry Vale. It's a pub. It's in a strip mall. You wouldn't think much of it from the outside.
Oh, it's right at the corner of
the
Wilkinson.
5 corners. Yeah, confusing intersection.
Yeah,
yes.
interurban.
Yeah. But it's another. We used to, when we first moved, we rented in that area, and so it was our neighborhood go-to place, and we still make a point of going there. The lamb burger. So good.
And if you were to bring a tourist to Victoria, what would you have them do?
Oh boy. Well, we've done lots of things already with our people. So Thetis Lake is one. We like to also go over to the Cordova Bay side because there's Parker Park, which is dog friendly and a beautiful walk when the tide's out. We've done Butchart Gardens a number of times. We've just been discovering Gowland Todd Provincial Park. We've done a few hikes there, and so that's so beautiful when you hike down and then all of a sudden you come into this beautiful bay and it's just so serene and lovely.
That's a Sandwich Inlet.
Yeah. And I mean, exploring all the neighborhoods is something we kind of do, because each neighborhood feels distinct and like it has its own character, and that's really fun to kind of go and get a feel for different places.
Have you been to the My Chosen Cafe?
No, not yet.
Well, if you like the 4 Mile pub and the 6 Mile pub, you have to go to My Chosen Cafe. And by the way, they're named 4 Mile, 6 Mile because they're 4 miles and 6 miles from downtown.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's how close we are in View Royal.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing we were really impressed with being here. It's 10 minutes into downtown. It's 10 minutes into Central Saanich. It's 6 minutes to Thetis Lake. It's 8 minutes to the Juan de Fuca Rec Center. It's 25 minutes to the airport. Like, we are perfectly positioned to get anywhere we want to be, and it's super easy to get on the number 1 and head up island. Like,
right.
We couldn't have picked a better spot, I don't think.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you want more information about the View Royal area, please give me a call. I'm Jane Johnston with the Briar Hill Group at Remax Camosun and host of Vancouver Island Time. We're going to be back in a few minutes with Jilly. We're going to be talking about her business, the Heartrageous Coach. So stay tuned, and we'll talk to you soon.
Vancouver Island Time is brought to you by the Briar Hill Group at Remax Camosun, Victoria, where we bring local expertise and global presence to your property.
Hello and welcome back. I'm Jane Johnston with the Briar Hill Group at Remax Camosun and host of Vancouver Island Time. I'm here with Jilly Hyndman. She is the boss babe of
Heartrageous Coach. Yeah.
So you previously moved from Saskatchewan, where you were working a 9-to-5 job, I'm assuming.
Yeah. I had worked a sort of corporate professional job for 20 plus years, and about 5 years ago discovered coaching and did it on the side and at my workplace where I was. So it was really nice.
And you're a certified coach?
Yes. Yeah, I'm credentialed and certified through the International Coaching Federation. And maintain that credential, which is important.
Okay, and then so when you came to Victoria, you decided to go full-time, and you were Jilly Hyndman Coach, and now you're the Heartrageous Coach. How did you come up with that amazing name? I love the name.
Well, it's funny. I was working with my coach, because coaches have coaches.
I have a coach too.
Yeah, and I was trying to shift from, doing this thing on the side that I kind of got referrals through my job, and I didn't really have to go looking for ideal clients. They kind of found me, and I thought, well, I need to be able to say what I do and how I do it. And so we just played with this word. Heartrageous is what came up, and it came from what I'm really called to do is help people be courageously themselves and live from their own hearts. We just played with the word courage. We just were brainstorming and being creative. And then all of a sudden this word popped out, Heartrageous. And I'm like, that's it. It's weird. It's made up. It might pique somebody's interest, but it really speaks to how I do my work. So it stuck.
Who is your ideal client?
I've narrowed it down. I used to say, I coach everyone on everything, and technically I can. But then it's hard for people to know if they should work with me. So I've narrowed it down to 2 quite specific groups. So the first group is women in that sort of 30-ish to 55-ish age range who have lived some life, who have perhaps followed a path, a career path, a motherhood path, a partnership path, and are suddenly or over time realizing, I feel out of alignment. I feel not like myself. And so these are women that want to really peel back who they really are, examine what society's telling them they should be like, and maybe want to put that aside. So
don't you find... So I know exactly what you mean, because I find that after women have children especially, or somebody is a stay-at-home parent, whether it be a male or a female, and they all of a sudden they have the time to reflect.
Yes.
That's when that change happens.
Yeah. And so it's new mothers or older mothers who have been mothering for some time. They often have that awakening of like, oh, wait a minute, my head's finally above the clouds. The kids are off doing their thing. who am I? And
Right.
what do I want? And so I work a lot with mums in that group, which is, I mean, I experienced that myself as a mother, so I
Yeah.
know that inside and out. And sometimes it's also women who have followed a professional path who suddenly say, like, you know what, I went to school, I got all the degrees and designations, I did the thing, I got the titles, I'm climbing the ladder, and I feel yucky or meh or unfulfilled. And it's like, what do I really want to do and be? So I help those women transition from, I'm on this path that has kind of been prescribed to me, and I maybe fell into consciously or maybe unconsciously because I was told I needed to be this growing up.
Well, I found for me, my parents really expected me to go to university, which is fine. And I remember my dad saying, "Oh, Jane, you're going to be a teacher." And I was like, "I'm not going to be a teacher." Of course, I eventually became a teacher. I love teaching. But when I came here, there were no jobs. And same thing, I had kids and I had to reevaluate. And, I didn't have the greatest experience with my realtor. And I just thought,
Yeah.
this is something that I could do, but same thing, 7 years of education with a master's degree, and then really, is it all thrown away? Absolutely not.
No, I think any education, no matter what it is useful. It teaches you about yourself. It teaches you, I started off, my first degree was journalism. I went through journalism school, I worked for the CBC. I thought I'm going to be an international correspondent, right? And then what I found out by the end of journalism school is that I hated journalism. I hated, it was not me to stick a microphone in somebody's face and say, "So that terrible thing happened to you. Tell me about that," right?
Yeah.
Which is funny because becoming a coach, it's actually full circle because that's exactly what I do. But it's coming from a different place.
It's coming from a helping place, not an invasive place.
Yes, exactly. So it's all those skills. We use them, right? They become part of our toolkit and we carry them forward in our life, and we get rid of the ones that don't serve us anymore. We find new ones to take their place.
So what's your second group?
Oh, the second group is near and dear to me. So it's people who have been given a gift from the universe. So something like a terrible diagnosis or things like that. So I like to work with people.
You're helping them find the silver lining.
Well, yes, and just be with whatever that experience is. Because often, I had a cancer diagnosis a couple of years ago. I've also watched both my in-laws die of cancer, and those are not fun experiences to go through, but they sure teach you a lot. And so what I notice going through all of those experiences is that as soon as you get a diagnosis, you're seen as that disease. You're seen as only that. What's the treatment plan? What are we going to do? Yeah. And a coach can come in and help you be seen as a whole person and think about, if this really is my demise, what do I want to do before that comes?
The end.
And who do I want to be through all of this, which sometimes gets forgotten through the medical community or through even a spiritual community or a social work community. Everyone sort of got their piece of that person, but a coach can look at them holistically and support them through that. So that's a really special place for me to serve. Do
you work with just the person who's diagnosed, or do you work with the family who's also affected?
either the person who's experiencing it themselves or the loved ones, one or more of them who are grappling with this new reality as well.
I think that's a great service. I really think people it's uncharted territory, and often people don't talk about it.
Yes.
So it's like you don't have the support.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And that's my whole, coming back to Heartrageous, that's my whole thing, is that I've always been somebody who speaks from the heart, says the thing that no one else feels comfortable saying. Like, I'm the one in corporate world who put my hand up and would say, really? How about this? And, got good responses from that. I wasn't ever shut down for that. So I think that's a gift I can bring, is to be able to say what needs to be said. And so part of my goal with Heartrageous is to help people have those truthful conversations they want to have, whether it's about, I'm dying and I'm scared about this and I want to say these things to these important people, or you know what, my life looks really good on paper, but I'm miserable in this fancy job I have with this fancy title, and I want to change something. So
how do you connect with each of those groups? How do you find them?
It's interesting. I'm exploring that. It's a new territory for me. So on the one hand, Victoria has a really active death care community. It's a really supportive community of professionals who are interested in this work. Everything from palliative care to spiritual care to funeral directors. There's death doulas here. So I'm part of that community and learning what works here. Word of mouth is the main way clients find me. The other thing I'm trying is, being visible on social media, which is, not as an introvert, not my happy place always, but again, I'm trying to be courageous and use the tools that are available to show people who I am. And if that appeals to them, then they'll find me.
Right. So, well, as an introvert, it means you're very comfortable with one-on-one.
Oh, yes. Yeah. And that's where, I do love doing that one-on-one with someone and going deep quickly. That's the beautiful part of coaching, is you get to see someone for who they are immediately and get beneath the surface into what really matters and what's really at stake.
So you're looking for an introduction to people in that community?
Yeah. It's really just, everyone knows someone who's getting a diagnosis or had something, that we deem negative happen in their life. So, a job loss or a relationship ending, and sort of being in that place of, oh my God, now what? A coach can really help you make sense of what's important to you and what you might want to do to move forward. Yeah.
I find, for me, I'm way too sensitive for that. I would just have a hard time with it, I think. But it may be something that you get used to doing. Yeah,
and I mean, as going through certified training or credentialed training, you learn the importance of self-management. So you have to have your own self-care practices to let things go, to not carry other people's issues or challenges, but to be of service to them. And having your own coach is somewhere to, a safe place to work through that stuff that maybe is a little heavier that you are carrying.
Yeah. So tell me about a success story in some of your coaching.
Yeah. One of my favorite clients ever, and I mean, they're all my favorite because you fall in love with your clients just because you get to know them so deeply and you see them succeed, and it's so wonderful. One of my favorites was a fellow out of the UK who had for 20 years run a really successful educational video production company, had huge corporate clients, really meticulous about his work and really thoughtful and lovely to work with, glowing reviews all the time. Really successful, right? And he'd always had this dream since he went through film school to write and direct and produce a feature film. And so we challenged him one weekend. It's like, well, when are you going to write? How long would it take to write a short film? So he wrote a short film in a weekend. It's like, okay, so how long will it take you to shoot it? So he found a cast and a crew and he shot it on another weekend. How long is it going to take to package it up and edit it and get your soundtrack and all that? Okay, and then he did a premiere. That was for him like a 20-year dream that he'd always had over on the side, on the back burner, right? Never got the attention. We put it into focus. I cheered him on from across the ocean, and he did it. And he has this beautiful love story of a short film that's out for the world to see now, which is and he's on to the next projects after that. So
sometimes you just, I find it's one step forward, two steps back, and it's a question, even for me growing my business, of hesitation, and then all of a sudden it's a leap.
Yeah. And a coach can really be that bit of
the impetus.
Yeah, it can be someone that gives you that permission to do that thing that everyone else might say, well, that's crazy, you'll never do that. A coach will say, of course you'll do that if that's what you want to do. Why don't you do that?
Right.
I'll help you do that. So
yeah, they don't see the barriers. Often people see themselves in a box,
yes,
right?
Yes.
So
yeah.
Cue the music, let it go. Anyway, okay. So if you're interested in learning about how you can reach your potential and you want to talk to the Heartrageous Coach, please contact Jilly. How do they get in touch with you, Jilly?
The best way is through my website, which is jillyhyndman.com. Or I'm also on Facebook as Jilly Coach. So they can search for those.
Can you spell it?
Yes. So JILLYHYNDMAN.com, jillyhyndman.com. And the other thing is I created a new website called Heartrageous Life a couple months ago, which is really a place to celebrate women who are peeling off the layers of societal expectations, and I'm sharing stories of really brave women. So that website is heartrageous.life, not .com, but .life. So it's kind of a neat.
Heartrageous.life.
Yeah.
Okay. And best number?
Best number. I still have a Saskatchewan number, so because they have great phone plans.
So I'll go to Saskatchewan.
Yeah, go to Saskatchewan to get your cell phone. 306-537-7522.
All right, so if you want more information about that, contact Jilly. If you want more information about the View Royal area, contact me. I'm Jane Johnston with the Briar Hill Group at Remax Camosun. Thanks for being with us today, and welcome to the neighborhood.
Welcome to the neighborhood. We hope you have had some insight into West Coast living. If you know of someone or someplace that should be highlighted in our podcast, we'd love to hear from you. Please go to VancouverIslandTime.com and click on our Connect button. See you next week on Vancouver Island Time with Jane Johnston.